Okay, we'll just give it a couple of minutes here, and we can let some people chime in and let me know where they're at. So let me know where you're calling from, where you're watching the presentation from. Okay, let's see. Excellent. Okay, we've got people from all over the place. We've got New Zealand, Maryland in the States, the UK, Arizona, Canada. So we're covering a lot of territory. I'll just wait a couple more minutes and we'll get going because we've got a really great presentation for you today. A lot of excellent information. Okay, Argentina, Morocco, Thailand, New York City, Germany. So we truly are here morning, noon, and afternoon. Israel, Miami, South Africa, India, Luxembourg. This is great. Taiwan, Korea, Ottawa, Canada. Keep them coming. Okay, just a few more and then we'll go ahead and get started. Connecticut, India, another from Israel, China. I am located right near Milan, Italy. So I am in Europe, and our guests are from different places as well. We've got the AMZ Scout team. Alexis is with us. She's from the East Coast. We've got Leon, and he's also on the Payoneer team. We've got, so let me just get started here. So we're well into it. Let me just get a couple more here. Okay, so let's go. First off, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks for investing your time and participating with us, because we truly feel that we've got something that will definitely be a game changer for you, whether you're just starting out or if you've been selling on Amazon for a while. And that's another thing I'd like to ask you as we get going. What kind of sales, where are you in the Amazon process? Are you just starting out? Are you having good monthly sales? Do you have a bona fide business where you're working full time on it, working for a company? What kind of monthly income are you bringing in more or less right now on Amazon? So we can kind of tailor some of our points to better suit exactly where you are in the process. So on that note, let's go ahead. What we've got today is we're going to talk about how to improve the profit margins of your Amazon product, how you're going to maximize the transaction fees, and then we've got a special guest, which you can see there right on the front page, who's going to talk about, who's got a wealth of experience, who's going to talk about some more medium to advanced techniques based on what you need, and I'll just jump right in. So we've got, with Payoneer, we've got Tosin Oki. He's the head of the UK and Europe sales. And he's a world-class athlete who competed for the Olympics before joining Payoneer. And the interesting thing about Payoneer, he'll explain a little bit more about what he does and how they can help you as an Amazon seller, is they've got an interesting, very, very transparent cross-border payment platform. So it's very interesting if you're looking to opening accounts in different parts of the world, and the majority of our audience is from all over the place. They've got some tools and a platform that you might be interested in learning about. And at the end, he's got a special offer that you might be interested in checking out if you're looking to open accounts in different areas and learn more about how to maximize your transaction fees. And then as a special guest there, we've got Kevin King, who's an 8-figure seller and a mentor. And I have a little bit of history with Kevin. He doesn't really know it that much, but I've been a client of his for a while, and I've attended some of his presentations, and I'm a part of this mastermind group, and the guy has given me so many valuable gems that it's one of these things where as soon as you start selling on Amazon for a while, you eventually come across the people who are at the top of the game, the people that deliver truly usable, valid information and kind of just leave the fluff out of it. And Kevin King is that person. You'll know just from listening to him for a few minutes that he knows what he's talking about. He's got a wealth of experience. And so we're very excited to have him. He's going to be at the end of the presentation. And just to give you an idea of who I am and why I'm here is I am also an Amazon seller. I've been selling since 2013. And I became a consultant and opened up an Amazon agency a few years back. And just a real quick history of what I've done is when I first started, I made so many mistakes like a lot of beginners make. And when I'm consulting with clients nowadays, I go from individual sellers up until larger corporations with big budgets. Because I noticed a lot of them are making the same mistakes, and that is that they jump in and they make moves without looking at all the data. And now is the time in Amazon. If you look back over the past 7 years, as long as I've been involved with it, you'll notice that you don't have to make those same mistakes that you did before. There are people like Kevin King, there are other consultants, there's other tools, and we're going to show you what you can learn today from AMZ Scout that are going to help you avoid those mistakes, because I made those mistakes. I started off in 2013, I bought too much inventory, I was following a program, I listened to every word they said, I followed it to a T, and everybody else in the class did it, and you might hear this story, this story might relate to you. I was stuck with that inventory, and there was a low barrier of entry. I had 1,000 competitors, some of them from different parts of the country that could undercut my costs. And so I was using the technology that was available to me at that time. And I was doing okay because I was learning the process. And if you fast forward to a little bit later, once you make those mistakes, I think that's really the best way to learn how to do things is to make mistakes. But once you start to see how the Amazon selling process has evolved and the tools that are now available, it's so easy to make the same kind of efforts in less than the normal time you would take. Let me say that better. Doing what we're doing now, what we're going to show you today, is going to eliminate so many of the mistakes that I made back then, and so many mistakes that a lot of customers that come to me, companies big and small, come to me and ask me about selling a product or expanding a product line or marketing or branding a product. There's so many tools available now, and this is one of them that's going to help you avoid a lot of those mistakes. So let's go ahead and jump in. Okay, so we're talking about maximizing the margins and finding the products with the high-end margins, just as it says here in the title. And so first off, AMZ Scout is a very customer-centric company dedicated to doing exactly what is needed for successful launching of businesses, successful ventures on Amazon. They have over 100,000 users and companies, and these pictures here that you see, these big brands are actual real customers, and they go back and forth, and their data is very customer focused. So I noticed that in working with them that they listen to a lot of the questions that I had. Okay, I'm just getting a note that I'm getting a little bit of an echo. Sorry. Let me just move closer here. Let me know if that's a little bit better. So I'm in kind of a bigger room. I'll try to speak a little bit more directly here. So the focus, as I mentioned, is on the users. We've got, we support 9 different countries, and our emphasis is on data collection and analysis. And the whole reason that this tool is so valuable, and I think you're going to see that when we go through some of the data points, is that this helps you make faster business decisions. And so what we want to do is we want to look for profitable niches that will make you $5 to $100,000 per month. It's filled with AMZ Scout. If you go look on the blog, you'll see that the customers, the stories here are all true. These people are real people. They've grown up with AMZ Scout, and they've helped make it better along the way. So the point of everything is to maximize the margins from the very beginning. And if you're going into this and the numbers are off, and you're just kind of going from the guts, or you're kind of leaving some information out, you're going to find out that that is going to derail a lot of your efforts. And I can tell you firsthand, and what I'll try to do is point out some of the mistakes that I made that I hope you do not make, because I still see people make them, as I mentioned before. So we want to look at the accuracy and consistency of the financial information of the products. We want to look and find unsaturated niches. We want to understand what makes up your margins. And this tool is going to help you do that. So let's just take a quick look. Here's the Google Chrome plugin that goes into, that you can use when you're on Amazon, and you can actually do a search, and it's going to, if you go to the page that you're looking for, you type in the keywords, it's going to open up this page. And here you're going to see all the products that are related to that keyword, and you're going to kind of get a dashboard view of how that product is doing on Amazon. Now, there's a lot of tools out there, but they're not quite the same as what the AMZ Scout tool does, because it covers a lot of data on the front panel that allows you to make a quick business decision. For example, and also I need to note that some of the other tools are not quite as conservative as AMZ Scout's tool. So it's better to go conservative in this case, so that when you're ordering inventory, when you're looking at the numbers, when you're planning out your marketing budget, that you don't overshoot it so that you're stuck with inventory and you're out of cash and you're kind of waiting for sales to happen, and it's almost like you're handcuffed at that point. So here's just an idea of, we're looking at this product right here with the monthly sales estimate of 219. Let me just go over here. And this is the average of this section over here, where you can see the estimated sales. Okay, 1 second. Okay. And here's an example here. I've got a 1 second, please, because I'm trying to minimize this so I can see it. Just 1 moment. Alexis, quick question for you. I'm trying to collapse the box, the chat box, so that I can go through the slide and see what's on the right, but it's being covered on the right. But basically, here's the dangerous side of overestimation. So what's happening here is you're looking at purchasing, you're looking at the data, and if you overestimate what that data says, like if you're too optimistic and you think that you're going to sell a certain amount per month, and then you buy that inventory without actually knowing the numbers, you're going to be stuck with that inventory, and that's going to affect everything. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so Lori is led to believe her new product will sell 500 units per month, and that's by taking the information from a tool that says the other sellers are selling this particular amount per month. She purchases 1,000 to assume 2 months of inventory planning. She only sells 250 per month with unplanned growing competition. Okay, and this has happened to a lot of people. It happened to a lot of people when I first started, and it happened to me. With all the numbers and all the data that we had accessible at the time, not quite as rich as the tools that we're talking about right now, you will go ahead and try to get a discount on your inventory for buying more. And so they'll tell you that you should buy 2,000 or 3,000 to get the price that you want. Well, in this particular case, you're basing it on data that might be faulty from the get-go. So you want to always err on the side of conservatism in terms of buying the inventory. You want to make sure you can get the cheapest possible price, the best possible deal with the lowest particular cost, depending on your budget. Now, there's a client I work with that has a specialized product that they created, they invented. So by doing that, they had to go to a particular supplier who had a minimum order of 15,000 because they had to customize that product. We're not talking about that here. We're talking about products that are typically available for you in China or in other parts of the world through Alibaba, through other resources that are already created, and you're going to rebrand them, you're going to make a tweak to them. So you got to be very careful about the data, because what's going to happen, like I mentioned before, is if you buy too much inventory and you base it on sales that you don't know is going to happen, you're going to be stuck with that inventory, then you're going to lose money from the very start. So, and what are you going to have to do to get rid of that product, which is going to throw all your numbers off? You're going to have to sell it at a cheaper price to sell off all the inventory, or you're going to have to spend more money. You're going to have to buy revenue just to move the product. So it's a great learning experience, but there are ways around it. There's ways to make it better. So if the demand is set, overestimating can crush your business, and it's true. And another thing that is not mentioned very often is when you're starting off and you do overestimate, you are handcuffed, but you're handcuffed for a while, because without the capital, you cannot buy more inventory, and you have to wait. So you're basically sitting there waiting to recoup some expenses, waiting to get rid of that product. You're losing momentum, you're losing your purchasing power, you're losing time. Okay, go on here. Okay, so one of the great tools in the AMZ Scout plugin is the niche history. One of the great things about the niche history, you can see it up here over on the right, is that you can check to see if a product is relevant over a period of time. You know, there could be seasonal products, there could be evergreen products, but this is one good way to tell you if that product is on the upswing or the downswing. And a year is a good piece of data depending on the products. Now, if you look at this chart right here, you can see that the sales are generally going down from 624,218 to 623,219. They're actually going down. And if you click on one of these lines, you can see the daily daily sales. But you can see the light blue line, that's the price that has relatively stayed the same. The rank has gone up and down as it normally would, depending on what you're advertising. But you can see with this particular product, it might not be bad, but it is going downward. So you might want to keep this on your list and look back to it if you don't find what you're looking for with maybe some other products. Just keep this on your list as maybe it's something you could add to your product line later, just based on the sales history. It's not stellar, but it's not horrible. And like I said, you can see the sales and the rank and everything just by clicking on the lines here. So the saturation level, you're competing for more than just sales. Just one second, I have a drink of water here. Okay, what happens when a product is oversaturated? I mentioned it in the very beginning as I was running through all the mistakes I made way back in the beginning, and a lot of mistakes I still see people making. If you go for a oversaturated niche, oversaturated product, you can get into a price war where you know the famous term is a race to the bottom. And you can't win those unless you have deep pockets. And your marketing costs are going to skyrocket because you're going to have in order to compete, you're going to have to spend all this money on a particular keyword. You have to outbid other people. If you're talking about inside Amazon, now there's ways to market outside of Amazon coming in, but we're talking about inside the ecosphere of Amazon and the campaign manager. So what we have is a saturation score. So this will also help you at a glance see what's going on with this particular niche at the time that you are looking at it. So if you look at here, it's got a saturation score of 4. That's pretty good. You know, you've got to look at it in comparison to everything else. And now you've got a niche score. The niche score is the overall score of the niche based on some of the factors that we talked about right now. And this is really interesting because this, again, allows you to make quick decisions on the niche. Do you want to explore this deeper? Do you want to add it to your list? And I'll come back to it in a little while. Do you want to keep looking until you find something better? Or do you want to, dig in and really research this niche, and maybe there's some other ancillary products that you might think are interesting that you could get into. So here's the overall niche score. This is a very useful little dashboard. And this one here has a score of 8, as you can see. And these are the pluses and the minuses of the product. Now the profit's very high. The demand is good. It's an older niche. So I actually look at that as maybe not such a bad thing, because an older niche, the problem with that could be that you've got to compete with a lot of reviews. But if it's an older niche, that means like it could be established. So let's look over at the competition. It's got medium. So it's an unsaturated niche, which is good. Very low quality images, listings, excuse me, where you can, it's got a description here where you can see everything that how they rank it, how AMZ Scout decides on these numbers. And so if it's got a low quality listing, you can beat them at that. You know, over on the main interface, there's a listing score. So if it's got like an 8 or 9, those are really good. If it's got a 4 or 5, maybe it's missing some images, maybe it's missing some keywords, maybe the text is not optimized. And then you've got down on the bottom here, it says too many reviews. That's going to be hard to get reviews because reviews are not like they used to be. 1 second, please. And this one, another thing is extremely monopolistic. Now you want to look out for products that have a very high income, like they're doing a lot of revenue that's really outweighing the other one. So you've got to see if you can compete with that. Because that could be difficult. They've got the reviews and they've got a monopoly on the product. That could be difficult to compete for as well. But the other positives bring up the negatives in this particular niche. So also over here, you've got the available from, which I find very useful. And you can see how long that listing's been available. So a lot of times what happens is people will jump on a new product based on the information that they have, they'll sell for it, and they'll realize it's not what they want. Maybe it's not doing as well as they want, and then they'll be out of it. It happens. There's a lot of rotation. There's a lot of in and out in Amazon for third-party sellers. So you want to look at here as well to see if there's a lot of new sellers, if there's some sellers that have been around for a long time, and see how you can fit in that in terms of selling. So let's jump into understanding your costs. Another helpful tool, and this is based on all the data that's here inside the app, is that you can click on one of these links and you can get an idea of what the product cost is, product price, and the potential return on investment, excuse me, right away. This will help you make decisions quickly. So in this case, we've got the product cost, which is $15.95, and then product price, excuse me, and then you can punch in your product cost, and you can put the additional cost per unit, which could be the shipping divided by the number of units, and then additional monthly costs, which can be, let's see, the cost per unit, the shipping cost, the sample cost, the marketing budget, and the FBA cost. All of these things have to be taken into consideration. The shipping cost, like I mentioned, the sample cost, because when you're buying your first product or buying another product, you want to get samples first, as you may very well know. And those samples usually cost a little bit more than you would think because they've got to ship them over to you depending on where they're coming from. So you've got to factor that in. And a lot of negotiation strategies are to make the sample costs part of the next purchase cost if you can. So you talk to the supplier and you say, I want to have this, I want to have my sample costs be absorbed into the first group of products that I buy. But then you also have to consider your marketing budget. Let me just go back to that. Your marketing budget and your FBA costs. Now the FBA costs are pretty straightforward. You can find them pretty easily by looking at other products in this tool. But you have to consider your marketing budget, and also there's a design and packaging budget that needs to be taken into consideration as well. A lot of people kind of skip that when they first start off, and they don't consider the packaging and the design, which if you shouldn't skimp on packaging, but if you're just testing a product, you could go with lower end packaging just to see how it works, and then upgrade the packaging as you wish. But if you want to make a better impression, you might want to budget an extra $500–600 just to have some professional packaging in, because if the original packaging that you're looking at is not up to standard, it's not up to the top listings that you're dealing with, you're going to have a hard time competing. So let's move on here. So we're looking at vacuum cups therapy set as an example, and we're looking at the average price of the FBA fees. So this gives you an idea of the fees that they're paying. Now this is the percentage that it's going to cost you that Amazon takes out of selling the product. And you've got the net margin, which looks very high right here, but it's not taking into consideration everything else. This is the potential margin without the fees. So let's try to make the math simple. You go to the profit calculator. You type in the product price. You type in your product cost. All the other information is compiled for you. You start to calculate maybe your PPC cost, and a good rule of thumb is maybe 25%, 25/25. So if you estimate that you're going to sell, 500 per month, take 25% of that, and that would be your revenue. Take 25% of that and put that in for your potential PPC costs. But I need to warn you and say that you're not going to know your PPC costs until you start actually doing the PPC, because the keywords can change, the bidding can change, and you're going to take that first, when you run that first campaign, you're going to take that data and then understand how much you can spend on PPC. But a good rule of thumb is maybe 20 to 25%. If you really want to get to the first page, you got to put the money up there first and then drive the cost down. And here, just to take a look at one of the products here, is when you roll over, you do see the image of the product. And then when you click on that product, you've got a bunch of options here. We're looking at the product calculator, which is right there, the product history. You can grab keywords, which is very helpful. You can find it at Alibaba right here at the click on Google, and you can copy the ASIN. So you can go look at the ASIN on Amazon and record it. So we're back in profit calculator. So we punch that in. And like I mentioned, find it in Alibaba. So we can click on that link. It'll take you to the Alibaba page, and it does an image search to get you to this point where you can find all kinds of competition. And at this point, you can see who else is offering the product. And it's always good to have multiple suppliers on hand so you can know, obviously have something as a comparison, but if you do find one provider or supplier and you want to have another supplier in case something happens, it's good to have a bunch of suppliers. So you can also negotiate the price as well. So in this particular instance, we got 10 pieces per product unit, which is 20 cents times 10, $2 a unit. We pop that in for the product cost, and then we get we've got an example here of the additional monthly cost of marketing cost, monthly cost of $750. That's based on the revenue of the example that we're looking at. So also you have to consider, like I mentioned before, the shipping cost. And we have tutorials on this as well, so when you're looking through it, you can kind of go step by step. But this is just going to give you a quick idea. And the importance of this is to give you that quick idea so you know whether you want to drill down into this or you want to go on to the next product. So just to recap on saving before you're investing, the inaccuracy and consistency of the financial information, you want to find unsaturated niches, and you want to find out what makes up your margins. And the AMC Scout tool is doing that right here for you. And so that brings us to where we are right now. And we're going to jump into this at the end as well. This is a special offer only for people viewing this webinar. And you can type or copy this link as it mentioned. But there is the per month option, there's the per year option, and there's the lifetime option, which is pretty cool. If you think about how much time you're spending on your research and on confirming the numbers and on training or trying to do this by yourself, trying to do all the calculations, and you think about how faster you could go, how many more products you could add, how faster you could make decisions, how quickly you could change directions and compile a list, and it's just insane. So I would say that you definitely want to take a look at one of these options, and the lifetime option here is the really good deal, because I've spent more than this on getting help doing it when I first started. I've spent more than this on, 10 times more than this on getting the information I needed to make a decision and to make sure I was doing the right thing. And the mistakes that I made even after that were incredibly high. So this is a special offer. Hold on one second. And you can also receive the link in chat. Alexis is telling me that I need to make sure that you can see that because I can't see the window right now. So if you could type in the chat to make sure that you can see that listing or that link. And if not, we can make sure to get that to you because that goes as long as the webinar. And there is a recording of the webinar as well. Okay. So now at this point, I want to turn it over to Tosin Oki, and he's the head of sales for Payoneer in the UK and Europe. And thanks for your time, and we'll be back in touch at the end to answer any questions. And from here on out, let's take it away, Tosin. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you for that. That was fantastic and a great insight into how your experience has been as an Amazon seller. And I think that's really, really relevant for everyone that's here. Yes, my name is Tosin. I'm the head of sales or business development, as we like to call it, for Payoneer Western Europe. We are quite a big company, probably the largest payments company that you've never heard of. We say this and people usually laugh, but as it's a webinar, I can't hear anyone laughing. From our side, we've been dealing with Amazon sellers for a long, long time. We were founded in 2005. And, you know, for us, e-commerce sellers, cross-border sellers, marketplaces, that's our specialism. And that's something that we pride ourselves on trying to be experts in the market. But certainly I know some of you haven't heard of us, so hopefully my little brief overview now will give you a bit of an insight into us and what we do. So yeah, this is cross-border payments with Payoneer, presented by myself. So here we go. So Payoneer, we have actually over 15 locations now worldwide. So I know there were so many people at the beginning from all over the world, with Canada, America, India, I think Luxembourg, South Africa, China. We usually have offices in most of the major hubs around the world. I'm based in the London office, as you can probably tell from my accent, but we literally I communicate with my colleagues around the world all the time. So yes, we actually operate though in over 200 countries and 150 currencies. So it's our reach in terms of finance and helping you move money and move your Amazon disbursements is pretty comprehensive, and we're constantly expanding, constantly looking at new partners all over the world. Just as a little fact for you, we have over 4 million international users, so hopefully some of you are customers of ours at the moment. So over 4 million users. We onboard around 5,000 new registrations to Payoneer to have a Payoneer account every day. So I mean, we have a huge global team in Israel, in Hong Kong, also in New York as well, helping with the onboarding process. So it's a massive company. Yes, we're payments, so we're talking about money. In 2018, we actually processed $22 billion worth of Amazon sellers' money. So we're pretty big, pretty big. We're on course to hit around 30 billion this year. So that's $30 billion that hasn't gone missing, and we're going to continue to grow. You can see some of our financial partners there on the slide as well. So we've partnered with around 2 banks in every country, just in case. Always good to make sure you can deliver our customers money on time. So those are some of our major partners there, and one of our big ones is MasterCard as well, because we actually offer a prepaid debit card, or credit card as we call it, for some of our customers. But actually, as a company, we actually have 2 sides to our business. So you are in my industry, in my field, I work the direct side. I deal with e-commerce, marketplaces, Amazon sellers like yourself, and the other marketplaces as well. So what we do, in a nutshell, is we actually help you receive your disbursements, international disbursements, back home at cheaper than the bank would normally do. So if you imagine, if you use ACC, you might actually not be aware of what ACC is. It's Amazon's currency converter. If you use Amazon to directly deposit your funds back into your account, it actually costs you around 3.7 to 4.3% of the total amount. So if you're expecting $100, you expect to receive $96 approximately. We actually do this cheaper. So we're specialists in this. This is what we do. Amazon is a marketplace. They have so many other things going on. What we do is the payment side. So we do it as a maximum of 2%. So all of a sudden, it totally changes the game. I mean, if you're talking about $5,000 in disbursements every month, we're talking about Amazon would charge you maybe $200 to receive that, and we would charge you $100. And some might say, oh, that's not that bad. It's only $100. But that's $100 that you can spend on your marketing. That's $100 you can spend on going for a meal with your family. It really does start to add up. When you go to $50,000 in disbursements, all of a sudden you're looking at $1,000 from us or $2,000 to Amazon and to your bank. So, you know, I recently had a customer who was doing $900,000 through Amazon, and he was paying $36,000 in fees every month to his bank and to Amazon. So you get an idea of how big, large scale it can be. And obviously we all want to be sellers who do 900,000 plus a month, and that's why we're here to listen to Kevin later. But that just gives you an idea of how expensive it can be to bring euros back to GBP, or to bring USD back to GBP, or to Euroland. And that's what we really specialize in. We've also got the other side of the business, and that side of the business is what we call the enterprise side. And from this slide, you can see we work with some of the major companies across the world. So if you're a freelancer, or you know freelancers, you pay freelancers for your website maybe. We help Fiverr make their payments, or Upwork make their payments. So Upwork and Fiverr will be using us to pay the freelancers that you use. Stock photography, stuff for your website maybe again. Getty Images is one of our customers, so they use us yet again to pay their photographers. Vacation rentals, one of the biggest ones, especially at this time of year in Europe. Airbnb, probably our biggest customer right there. So they use Airbnb. We help Airbnb make their payments, and digital marketing as well. So we're across the board. It's not just e-commerce, but for sure today it's all about e-commerce, and that's what I'm going to continue talking to you about. So we have a global payment service. It actually provides you with virtual receiving accounts. They are real accounts, don't panic. They're not just virtual and they don't just disappear. But what we do is automatically, if you sign up to us, we'll give you receiving accounts in USD, in GBP and euros automatically. If you need Japanese yen, CNY, Canadian dollar, Australian dollars, because I know Amazon's launching in Australia. Actually, they're already in Australia. This is something that we can do, and this is something that Amazon actually partners with us to help with their customers who are launching in Australia. So this is what we do. We'll give you a virtual receiving account, and from there you can actually receive your disbursements for free from Amazon directly to your Payoneer account. And from there, then you can choose to take this money back home, withdraw it to your bank, and the maximum rate you would ever get charged to do that is 2%. So it's actually like you've had a local bank account in that country. We actually use local banking systems, and we kind of piggyback, not sure if you know this phrase, but we piggyback on local banking systems across the world. And that's why we're able to offer it at such a cheaper rate. So we will just, if you think about in the UK, you've got something called faster payments, which is how the banks pay each other. If you receive money from the UK and you need to get it paid to your UK account, we will just use faster payments and jump on that. If it's in Europe and it's in Eurozone and it's SEPA, we'll use SEPA and we'll make those payments. In America, ACH, we'll do the same thing. So I'm guessing you're getting an idea of how we do it and how we're able to save you 50% on all your transactions, bring your well-deserved funds back home. So like I was saying, we have quite a few different currencies. The major currencies we have are there displayed on the screen: USD, GBP, Euro, Japanese yen, and we have more currencies on the way. We have Mexican pesos, a recent one as well, that you can receive funds from. So quite a few that you can receive funds from in terms of marketplaces, Amazon Marketplace. But then when you want to pay it out, you can pay it out to over 200 countries and 150 currencies across the world. This is an example of what our receiving bank account looks like. So you can see like a euro on the left-hand side. The bank name is Wirecard, so that's one of our partner banks. Bank country Germany, the person's name, and the IBAN. So basically, anyone can send you money as long as they've got your IBAN. So remember, we're a B2B service as well. So any business can actually effectively send you money, not just Amazon Marketplace, but obviously that's what we're talking about today. Any business can send you money as long as they've got your IBAN details. You can also see on the left that there's a USD account, Euro account, GBP, and JPY. So this customer obviously is on 4 different Amazon marketplaces and potentially more in Europe as well. So it's quite comprehensive. You can see that they've uploaded their questionnaire where we ask a few details about themselves. They've uploaded the questionnaire, but we're still waiting for a proof of identity. So this is really, really important as well to make sure from our side that we're comparing with anti-money laundering principles. We have to make sure that we verify the identity of every customer of ours. KYC, and it's a really important thing to do. And for you as an Amazon seller, someone who's growing their business, it's important you work with a company that is trusted and is fully compliant with financial regulations across the world. On the right hand side, you can see a USD receiving account and what that looks like as well. All the relevant details there, like the routing number. So yes, again, B2B payments, you can receive payments from any business effectively. So yes, the platform, you've got 4 ways to get paid. You can global receiving accounts, or using those global receiving accounts. You can get paid from Amazon, your marketplace, in-network payments as well. So Payoneer to Payoneer. If someone else you know has a Payoneer account, they can pay you directly, which is pretty cool as well. And they can pay you for free doing that, which is another thing that's a function I'll talk about a little bit more in a second. And also something called the billing service, where if someone's not necessarily a customer, if someone's a customer or they're not a customer, you can request payments from them as well. So, sorry, apologies for that. So you can request payments from them, and that's how you get paid. But you've got 4 ways to use your funds, but actually we've got kind of a few more. Withdraw your money to a local bank account. You can make a payment as well. So you can basically withdraw your funds by sending it to someone who's a Payoneer customer. You can maybe use one of our cards for online and in-store purchases, one of our prepaid credit cards from MasterCard, or you can withdraw funds at an ATM also with your MasterCard. So quite a few things that you can do that are options for you. Another big thing about Payoneer, we listen to our customers. Really, really important to listen to your customers. We worked out that quite early on that people need to pay their VAT. If you're a cross-border seller and you are from India and you're selling in the UK, and the UK taxman likes his money, you need to pay your VAT. How do you pay that VAT? If you got it sent to your bank account back in India, you've then got to change money again and use maybe PayPal or some other service to try and pay the VAT authorities. Not with Payoneer. If you have a UK account with us, you have a GBP account, all you do is once you've received funds, you've got maybe £5,000 in there, you just use that balance to straight away pay the authorities. You just click on the link that's in the system and you can pay them for free from your Payoneer balance. So you can imagine no cost at all involved in that. Literally, you've got a GBP balance anyway, and so you've got £5,000, you need to pay £4,000. Click the link here. So you click on the United Kingdom tab right there and pay, and it's already preloaded. Their details already preloaded into the account. You just put your reference number in there, and there you go. You just pay. So it's that simple. You skip converting funds into currencies, and you skip extra fees as well. So that's pretty cool. You can actually pay it for free, like I said, but it's also available in Poland and the Czech Republic, and this is something that none of our competitors will allow you to do. So you can pretty much pay VAT in every relevant country in Europe. So that's a great feature that we have to our account. Like I said before, you can pay your suppliers for free. So if your supplier is a Payoneer customer, you can literally go Payoneer to Payoneer, whether it's GBP to GBP, USD to USD, makes no difference to us. You can pay them for free. So being able to pay, many people have suppliers overseas. So if that's the case and that's relevant for you, find out if your supplier is a Payoneer customer. If they are, you are very, very lucky. Send the funds across to them. No conversion fees at all. It's within our network and it'll be free for you to do. So that's a really, really good thing. If you need to convince your supplier to join Payoneer, let us help you. You can always send us their details and we can talk to them about the many benefits of joining Payoneer, and hopefully you can start sending payments between yourselves for free. So this is something that's very, very relevant for many of our customers, especially some of our biggest ones. Currency exchange. So we do currency exchange for you, bringing funds back from Amazon and other marketplaces, but it would be rude for us not to allow you to do it yourselves. So this is something that you can do internally within our system. What happens there is you might have a balance, as you can see in this example of USD, and you might need to pay someone in euros. And rather than, yes, again, using one of the other companies out there who will charge you 5%, 6%, sometimes your bank might even charge you more than that. You can just convert the funds within our network and then pay them out straight to that person at a cheaper rate. So what we do is we charge a flat rate of 0.5% for you to make conversions in our network, and then you can pay it out. And it's pretty straightforward. So it's pretty cool. There's a lot of transparency there. You can see the exchange rate at the time on the system. So with that, it just makes it very, very straightforward for you to send money to other people. You can see some examples of how you can do it and examples of how it might be relevant for you. Paying VAT in European countries might be relevant as well. Paying suppliers with integrated pay. I mean, these are more like bigger customers and like mass pay enterprise customers. But if you need to pay suppliers in a different currency than you've got, you have the functionality to do that, which is pretty cool. We do have a special offer. Everyone's got a special offer. I think if there's one other thing that I might want to talk to you about in terms of what we offer, I know we offer working capital as well to some Amazon sellers. So if you're a seller who sells in the US, so Amazon.com or Amazon.co.uk, we actually have a product now which will allow you to access additional capital if it might be needed for small to medium-sized businesses. And that's kind of my history. I came from a company like that, and we found that many customers, or many of our customers, clients, did need that. So if it's something that might be of interest to you, please do let us know if it's relevant. Definitely, you'll see my contact details shortly. So working capital is a big thing that we've just launched. The special offer here, though, is if you don't have a Payoneer account yet, and you register through this link, you get a $50 bonus. Once you've topped up or you've received Amazon disbursements of $1,000 within a year, which I'm sure all of you probably get within a few weeks or a month. So this is something that might be of interest to you, certainly if you want to reduce the cost. I mean, we're talking about margins here, and I come from a world of sport where centimeters and half a second makes a huge difference between what you earn, and margins here are really, really important, and that's why we're all here today. So if you want to find out some more information about Payoneer and e-commerce world, you can visit our blog as well. Payoneer blog's listed, and I guess you'll be seeing this presentation later. And finally, stay in touch with us. We are worldwide. This is the London office here, but you can always reach out to the local office. So I like to feel like I'm pretty international. So if you want to reach out to me wherever you're from, feel free to. I only speak English, unfortunately, but do feel free to reach out to me. But yes, we have local offices all around the world. So if there was a more localized office closer to you, feel free to reach out to them as well. But I think that's enough from me. And I thank you very much for your time, and enjoy the rest of the show.
All right. That was great stuff from both Payoneer and AMZ Scout. This is Kevin King now. So it's my turn. And you know what? I've got a lot of really actionable, cool stuff I'm going to be sharing with you guys right now. I'm going to show you 7 secrets to sell more, spend less, and make more money on Amazon. And if you stay with me through the end, I'm going to give you 7 ninja hacks at the very, very end that you can't afford to miss. So if you guys are ready, let's go. Oops. My name, like I said, my name is Kevin King. Just a little bit of background in case you don't know who I am. I've been selling on Amazon since 2001. I've done millions of dollars of sales on Amazon, and I continue to do millions of dollars of sales on Amazon. I speak at events all over the world for Amazon sellers, from Europe to Asia to the US to you name it. I'm actually in Colombia, South America right now, doing this presentation for you, and I'll be heading off to Romania and Israel to speak next week. I've also been on almost all the big podcasts out there that are in the Amazon space, and I'm also, like Michael said, he's actually a member of the Helium 10 Elite Mastermind, which is a monthly training that we do for experienced sellers. Every single month, we bring the latest and greatest techniques and strategies to people who are already doing well on Amazon. And then I also do my own little events like the $1 Billion Seller Summit, which just happened back in May, where the average in the room was $6 million. Had about 90 people there in Austin, where they have, like I said, the average seller was doing $6 million in sales. So it was a really high-end event. And then I do stuff for beginners. I have an event coming up at the end of August in Austin called AMZ Masters, which is a very high-level training for beginners, in-person training with like 22 different speakers. But my goal today is to show you some actionable stuff. No BS here. No just general beating around the bush. I'm going to show you step by step some really cool stuff, no matter what your level is, whether you're a beginner or you're just starting out and just starting to use AMZ Scout, or if you're an experienced seller. There's going to be something here no matter what your level is or where you're at. So I want to know if you're ready. I want to make sure everybody's awake. So if you can type in the chat box right now, are you ready? Type a yes. I need to see. Let me pull up the chat here and make sure I can see it. Are you ready? All right. I'm seeing a few yeses come in. I need to see some more. There's hundreds of you on here right now watching this live. Those of you that are on the replay, you can't type in the chat box, but those of you who are live, let me see some more yeses. I want to make sure everybody's ready because I'm going to share some really cool stuff. All right, cool. I'll see some more yeses coming in. All right. Let's do it. Let's do this. Number one, the first of these 7 really cool tips and tricks that are going to help you is, did you know that about 90%, it may actually be a little bit higher than this, of all people who try to sell products on Amazon, they actually fail. And I want to try to give you a few tips to make sure you're not one of those 90% that fails. You're one of the 10% that actually succeeds. Most people that start selling on Amazon, it's like throwing money away. They're just throwing money to the fire because they watch some YouTube videos or they take a course somewhere that's just not complete, or it tells them that this selling on Amazon is easy and anybody can do it, and look at these big sales numbers, and it's just not true. Selling on Amazon is a real business. It's not a get rich quick scheme. If you're trying to do this and to quit your job next week, you're in the wrong business. But if you're trying to do this to build a really good business and to make a change in your life and to better your future, this is a great opportunity. But you have to treat it like a real business. This is typically what happens when someone starts selling on Amazon. Let's take this guy Johnny. Let's call him Johnny. Johnny watches some free YouTube videos, or maybe he takes a paid course. And he gets the basics and gets all excited that he's going to get rich selling products on Amazon. So he's confident that this is really easy. So he uses a free or maybe a cheap tool to find a great product to sell. And there's a lot of great tools out there that you should use, like AMZ Scout, for example, to actually help you do your product research. Then he goes over to Alibaba or some other site and he places an order. And he probably actually overpays for that order. Maybe he starts with like 500 units to try this out. Maybe 1,000 units. And then in order to get rank, because you can't just put it up on Amazon and start making sales, he's got to give some away, or he's got to spend a lot on pay-per-click advertising or whatever other launch method he's using to try to sell 300 units. And most likely those are going to be sold at a loss just to try to get to rank to page 1. So now he's got about 200 of his 500 left. So he sells those and he quickly runs out of stock. And now he's out. He can't sell anything. It says unavailable on Amazon. So he has to order more from the factory. And he has to rush them over maybe by air freight at a really high cost. But while the factory's making more of these, he's still been out of stock for 2 months. So his BSR tanks and he falls maybe down from page 1 to page 19 or even off the grid completely. So what's he have to do? He has to start all over again and do another launch, another PPC, just to regain his rank, try to get back up so people can see him and get discovered. And then now he sells the next 200 units, but he still hasn't made a profit. And he just keeps repeating the cycle. Now he's in debt, actually in debt. So he quits and he tells his friends that selling on Amazon doesn't work. This is a scam. It's already past. It's too competitive. And it couldn't be anything further from the truth. The truth is you have to work smart in how you do this. And this is the mistake that most people make, is they go use a tool like AMZ Scout, which is a great tool, and they see what something is selling and they pick a product solely based on that. And you can't do that. You have to pick products based on how much money you have to invest, and that's going to determine which products you look at. So when you're using like AMZ Scout to try to find a good product, you can't just take something that looks like this is cool, I can make a lot of money on it, I can afford to buy some of these. You need to base your decision on what can I buy and can I stay in stock on, and what can I afford to actually grow? And so that's going to change your perspective on which type of products you need to actually look at. Now, there's 5 metrics that really matter when you're selling on Amazon. The first one is the keyword demand on Amazon. It's not so much how much something sells. I mean, the tools like AMZ Scout will show you this is the estimated sales volume, but you don't know whether those sales are coming from Amazon itself, from someone going into that search bar on Amazon and typing in, or if it's coming from outside of Amazon. Maybe it's an affiliate site. Maybe someone got featured on the Today Show or a popular TV show and they made a bunch of sales. You don't know where those sales are coming from. So you have to be careful just looking solely at the number, the units of sales. You need to know the amount of competition on Amazon and your relative rank, which AMZ Scout Michael showed you earlier, how it shows you some of that kind of information. You have to base things on your cash flow. How can you sustain it? It's not just about how much money do you have to start with. It's about continuing your business and growing it. And there's 2 really important numbers called ROI and then ROII with 2 I's. We'll talk about those more in a little bit. And then it's profit. Those are the 5 things that really matter the most if you're going to try to sell on Amazon and be successful. Those 5 things are where you got to put your focus on. Now, of course, you have to have a good product. It needs to be differentiated, but these are the 5 big metrics that really matter. Now, the number one key to success on Amazon, there's one thing that's the number one key to success. I want you to type it in the chat box and let me know what you think it is. Go ahead and type it in the chat box. Go ahead and type it in right now and let me know what you think it is. I can't actually see the chat box right now, so I'm not sure if someone, Alexis or someone can actually see what people are typing in there. But go ahead and type in what you think it is. What's the number one key to success for selling on Amazon? The number one key to success is mathematics and data analysis. If you're not good at math or you're not good at analyzing data, then your chances of success on Amazon go way down. It's more of a get lucky type of thing than it is. So if you're not good with math or data analysis, you need to partner with someone that is, or get someone on your team that is. All the big sellers, all the people doing millions of dollars of sales on Amazon, they're very good, or they have someone that's very good at this. The number one question people always say is, how much money do I need then to start selling on Amazon? Or maybe you're already selling on Amazon, you're going to launch a second product. How much should you put in your budget to do this? I always tell people that you need at least 2.5 times your initial inventory cost. That's how much money you need to really have a good chance of succeeding selling on Amazon. 2.5 times your initial inventory cost. Well, what does that mean? Let's say you have $5,000 US to start with. If you have $5,000 US to start with, you're going to divide that by 2.5. So that means when you divide that by 2.5, that means you have $2,000 to spend on your initial inventory. So when you're using tools like AMZ Scout to actually just do some of your research, you need to find a product that you can spend no more than $2,000 on to buy the initial inventory. Because why not spend the whole $5,000? Because you're going to need some money for PPC. You're going to need some money for maybe a software tool, and you're probably going to need more money. If you're successful, you're going to have to order more products before you get paid for the first product. So you're going to order some product, and all of a sudden you start selling a lot, like Johnny in our example, and you're like, oh my God, I need to get some more made. Well, you're going to need that money sitting there because Amazon hasn't paid you yet. Or maybe you can use Payoneer, if you're an advanced seller, and like he was saying, where they sometimes give loans, but you have to be an established seller and have a track history before you can do that. So you're going to have to pay. You're going to need some more money to buy the next round of inventory while the first one is still selling through. So that's why you need this. I like to make a little chart that looks something like this. So this will give me an idea of what kind of products I should be looking for. So if I only have $5,000, when I'm using a tool like AMZ Scout, I'm going to look at that shows you the sales per month, like Michael showed you earlier. So if I'm looking at something that's selling 300 units per month, the second column down there, that's about 10 per day. I'm going to need about 80 units, the third column over, to rank this thing. And so that my investment's $2,000. That means my landed cost, which is the cost to make it in China or wherever you're making it, plus all the duties and taxes and shipping, should be about $5.26, give or take. That means the price range should be about $21 to $47 for that product. Now, why is that price range of 4x? Because the number one mistake I see is people don't have enough margin. So you need a minimum of 4 to 5 times your landed cost, the sales price. If you're buying something, I see this mistake all the time. People, they find something in China and it's $4. And then by the time they pay the shipping, the air freight, the duties, the taxes, it's $7 to actually get it into the Amazon warehouse. And they're selling it for $14.99. You can't make money doing that. You're going to go out of business. There's lots of people on Amazon that may be selling stuff at that price point, but they're not making money. And that's the fastest way to go out of business. You need to 4x to 9x it. So that's why I have this $21 to $47. Now, is that an absolute number? Not absolute. That's just a ballpark. Maybe $19.95 is okay. Maybe $49.99 is okay in that particular line. But that gets you in that rough idea. So when you're using AMZ Scout, you need to find products that fit this criteria, because it's going to give you the best chance of success. Well, if you only have $2,000 to start, well, that means you only got $800 to spend on your initial inventory. So it's going to change the whole picture of everything that you're looking at using the research tools. Like same thing there. If it's 300 sales per month, you need to find something with a landing cost of about $2, $2.11 that you're selling for between $8.40 and $19. And so anything that's outside of that range, if $2,000 is all you have, even though it may look like a great opportunity, you're going to have to skip it unless you can come up with some more money, because otherwise you're going to end up like Johnny, and you may start selling and doing well, and you're going to run out of stock. It's going to become this vicious cycle, and you're just going to be spinning the hamster wheel, and you're never going to go anywhere. Or if maybe you got $20,000 to start with, then it changes the whole picture again, and you can play at a whole different level. So this is extremely, extremely important that you understand this, because otherwise your chances of success are next to none. And this is the number one mistake people make, is they have some money, they spend it all to get that initial inventory, and they don't really think of the cash flow, and they don't think of the future, and how are they going to stay in stock and grow their business, and they don't have the proper margins. So it's crucial you understand this. Now, the other thing, remember I said there's something called ROI, and over on the left there is a profitability calculator. AMZ Scout has one built in too. There's a lot of different tools out there that have these. Even Amazon has a free one. But ROI is my most important number. ROI stands for return on investment. So not only am I looking at the profit margins, I'm looking at something called ROI. And ROI is calculated by your profit divided by your investment. Because on Amazon, if you really want to grow your business fast, you need to use compounding, and that's the key to rapid growth on Amazon. So in this particular example, if you look all the way down at the bottom of that, on the left-hand side, the part in green, it shows that this has a profit of $7.07 from October to December. And if I was selling 10 units per day, which is 300 per month, that would mean that is about $2,121 in profit per month off of this particular item. Well, if I divide that by my initial $2,000 I invested, that's 106% ROI. And I would not do this product. Now, some people there's a lot of people out there selling stuff with much lower ROIs, 70%, 80%, 50%. I like to find things that have 150% minimum. And why? The reason is because that's going to mean I need less cash to grow my business. I'm going to be able to take my $2,000 and keep compounding it, keep turning it over and over and over, and grow my business without having to take outside loans or hit up my rich uncle or my friends to invest and give away part of my company. So I like to see things that have at least 150% minimum or above, and you're going to be able to grow a lot faster and get to the goals that you want to do a lot faster. Now, the other thing that's really important is inventory turns. You need to strive for at least 4 turns per year. That means basically you're reordering at least every 3 months. If you order a whole bunch of product and it's sitting in Amazon's warehouses for 6 months before you sell it all, that's not a good use of your money. You're tying up your money and you're not getting a good return on it. So if you can get this to 12, that means every month you're replacing the inventory. That's even better. But a minimum of 4. So you need to look at, I've had products in the past that took me 6-7 months I ordered 1,000 of them. It took me 6 months to sell them. I made money on them. Every one of them I made a profit, but it hurt my ROI and hurt my tied up my cash for too long. So you want to strive for at least 4 turns of your inventory per year. So you're reordering at least 4 times per year. Another thing that's just the death is running out of stock on Amazon. If you run out of stock on Amazon, it's so bad. So how much do you need to order? When you're looking at tools like AMZ Scout and you're trying to figure out how much do you need to actually order, I see people make this mistake too. They just order the MOQ of 500 or 200 or 1,000 without actually thinking about how much do I really need to try to be successful here. So basically you need to, the formula for figuring out how much you need to order is the manufacturing time. So how long does it take to make it? How in days? So is it 30 days or 60 days? What does your factory say? How long does it take to make it? Plus the shipping time. So if you're shipping it by air, that might be a week or 2 weeks. So it's 7 or 14 days. Or if it's coming by sea, it might be like 30. Then I always like to add 10 extra days to it. So that there's some sort of problem, it gets held up in customs or something like that. And then I always like to have at least 30 days of inventory on hand. The Amazon algorithm actually favors if you have inventory on hand. It actually can help you rank higher if you have 30 days or more of inventory. And then you have 10 days to launch the product, 10 days of where you're going to be doing some heavy giveaways or a lot of PPC or doing some sort of promotions, times whatever your target competition sells in a day. So if you're looking at AMZ Scout and you're trying to be the third or fourth position, and that guy, according to AMZ Scout, is selling 8 units per day, that's what you're going to times it by. And that's going to give you the number that you need to order. That formula right there is critical and determining how much you need to order. And it may be more than the MOQ, or it may be more than what you can afford to do. And if it's more than what you can afford to do, then you're going to have to back off and go and find another product, because otherwise you're just going to be throwing money to the fire, and your chance of success it goes way down. So that formula right there is crucial. Now that other metric that I talked about, the ROII with 2 I's, this is more for people who are already selling. So if you're already selling on Amazon, this one is gross profit per product divided by your inventory value per product. This is a crucial number for determining which products you should maybe get rid of. I have some products that I sell that even though they're profitable and they're making me money, I get rid of them. I actually discontinue them. And you might be, why the heck would you do that, Kevin? That's stupid. You're making a profit on it. No, it's because I'm not a billionaire and I don't have unlimited funds. I want to take the money that I have and put it to the best use. And where can I make the most money on that money? And then if I've got a product that has a low ROII, I'm going to try to replace it with another one. If it's a baseball game, you want guys that hit home runs, not just the guys that get on first base. And so the ROI, take a look at this example here of these 3 products. If you take a look at their profit margins, you can see that the one that's highlighted in red there has 32% profit, but its ROII is only 80%. That means it's tying up a lot of my money. And so what I would do in this case is I would probably drop that product because that ROII is too low, and I'd try to replace it with something else that had a higher ROII. But that's why if you just look at the profit percentage, you can see that product 1 only has a 30% profit percentage. So your first reaction might be, well, let me get rid of that product. But you shouldn't, because its ROI is actually higher. It's actually going to make you more money long term than the one with a higher profit margin. So that's why you can't just look at profit. Profit is just one aspect of it. It's an important one, but it's just one aspect. So high ROI values are winners, low values are the losers. So I free up my cash flow and I grow my business faster by replacing them over time. And this is really important if you got a lot of products out there. If you got a big inventory, lots of SKUs, this can make a huge difference in your business. So pay attention to these numbers because they're super, super important. All right, that's just the first of 7 cool little things I'm going to be showing you here. Everybody like it so far? Everybody okay so far? Type it in the chat box. Let me see. Everybody's okay so far? You're still with us? All right, cool. All right, the second cool thing that's going to help you I want to share with you is I'm going to give you a tip that's like almost an $11,000 tip on ways that I make sure that I don't get ripped off by my supplier. Now, there's a site out there called 1688.com. This site it's owned by Alibaba, and it's meant for the Chinese market. It's not really meant, some people go there to do their sourcing, but it's really meant to be for people inside China. So the whole site is all in Chinese. But I like to use this site to actually make sure I'm not getting screwed by my supplier. Maybe you found your supplier on Alibaba or Global Sources or one of the other places, and I want to make sure that I'm getting a fair deal. And I use this as a negotiating tactic. So how does this work? This product here is an ab roller. This is actually a product that I used to sell, this 3-wheel ab roller. And so what would I do to make sure that I'm getting a good price from my supplier? Well, this is the invoice from a couple years ago from my supplier when I ordered 840 of them. This is the actual invoice. I was paying $6.50 each for this particular product. And I was like, there's some people selling this for like $18, $19 on Amazon. I'm like, how the heck are they making any money? Because by the time you get your landed costs and you add your shipping and everything, it's significantly higher than the 650. I'm like, they must be getting a better price than me. So what did I do is I actually went over to Google Translate, and I typed in, step one is I typed in abdominal roller 3 wheels. And when I typed in abdominal roller 3 wheels, I wanted to get the translation into Chinese simplified. So simplified Chinese. And it's going to give you the translation. So there's a translation right there. I'm just going to copy and paste that. Then I'm going to go over to 1688, and it's all in Chinese. I don't worry about translating it. You can if you want. There's ways to do that with in the Google Chrome browser, but I don't worry about it. I'm just going to paste in what looks like the search box there next to that big orange button. I'm going to paste that Chinese simplified in there, and it's then going to hit return, and then it's going to spit back some results that look like this. Well, take a look at this. This doesn't look like an ab roller. This is some sort of other wheel, some sort of other wheel that came up. That's not my product. So what does that mean? That means I didn't do the translation literally enough. So I would have to go back and change it from ab wheel or whatever to abdominal wheel or stomach wheel or something so it translates properly. Once it translates properly, the results should be very similar to my product. And you can see here as I'm looking through them, look on the one on the right, that looks pretty close to my product. It's got a mat and the roller and a little stopper. That looks like my product. So I click on that product and it brings it up onto 1688. And now if I look over there and I see that remember my purchase order was for 850 of these, so greater than 101 units, it's 25 yuan or 25 RMBs. I'm like, well, how much is that in US dollars? So I go over to Google and I just type 25 CNY, which is the abbreviation for the Chinese currency, to USD, and that says it's like $3.74. I'm like, wait a second. My invoice, I was paying $6.50. So these people on 1688 can buy this thing for $3.74. I'm getting ripped off here. Someone's hosing me over. So what do? I fire off a letter to my supplier. And I say, look, I'm paying $6.50 for these 840 units. Over there, it's $3.74. So I send out the letter to them, and they send me this letter back. In this letter back, they say, Kevin, we have to pay a tax when it leaves the country of 11%. I'm like, okay, fine. So $370.74 plus 11%. What's that? 40 cents or something like that. Okay, we can add 40 cents to it. So now we're like $4 and some change. That's still way cheaper than $6.50. And they say, Kevin, over here in China, we put it in an ugly box. Nobody cares about the package. You're putting it into a nice, pretty box that has printing all over it. So that's 50 cents. I'm like, okay, fine. We'll add 50 cents back to the price. We're still at like $4.70 or something. Also, they said, we have to grease the wheels over here. We got to pay our friend, to make sure everything's okay. So, okay, whatever. But, in our long term, we'll offer you a price now of $5.50. So immediately, just by me calling them on this, they lowered the price by $1. Well, in the end, I went back and forth with them. I was able to get it for like $5, which is way better than paying $6.50. So what does that mean? That means I made about $11,000 in additional profit off of just this one product, just by using this tactic to make sure I'm not getting ripped off by my supplier. It's crucial that you cross-check because they will take advantage of you, especially if you're new and you're asking for escrow and you want to pay by PayPal and you have all the signs that you're a newbie seller. They're going to take advantage of you. So you have to double check these things and make sure that that they're not. And this is a huge difference in making more money on Amazon. Another site you can check is called Taobao. In addition to 1688, it's also going to be all in Chinese. That's another place that you can go and it actually can check as well. So that's the second tip that I have for you today out of these 7. So I'm on a roll here, so I'm going to keep on going. Number 3 of these cool tips to help you sell more, make more money, and spend less on Amazon is you've got to split test your images before you upload them on Amazon. There's software tools out there that will let you do these these split testing, but I don't like using them because there's too many outside variables. I like to actually know my main image is so critical to how many clicks you get and how many sales you get, that so many people make this mistake, or they think they know what the best picture is, or maybe you ask your friends and your family, like, hey, which of these pictures do you like best, and that's the one you go with. But that's a mistake. You got to get anonymous people that don't know you, that don't have any skin in the game, that are totally oblivious to what you're trying to do or with the message that you're trying to make. So that's what you got to focus on. So take a look at these two pictures here. If this is going to be my main photo for selling on Amazon, if I was trying to decide which one to do, the one on the left that shows the 6 bottles in the little case, or the one on the right that shows the 6 bottles and they're outside the little wooden case, how would I know which one to go with? I mean, think about it in your mind right now. Which of these two would you go with, the one on the left or the one on the right? Well, I can tell you that after we did this test, the one on the left is definitely the one that you should go with, because the one on the left is the one that's actually going to get more clicks and probably lead to more sales. How do I know this? I use something called PickFu, PICKFU.com. And this site will go out and they will randomly poll a lot of people and get immediate feedback. And so you don't have to just wait and try to sell products and do all these split tests on Amazon. You can get the answer in like 15 minutes. And so this site's really cool for doing that. And so I would go in here and I would set up a little poll, like this example, the screenshot here. It costs a little bit of money. It's not free, but it's money well spent, because the money that you spend on this is going to make you a lot of money down the road. And so I would put in my option A or option B. I would have a question. You can do whatever you want here. You can choose 50 people, 200 people, 1,000 people. And then you can also put that you only want people that have a behavior of Amazon Prime membership. So I don't just want anybody, random people out there actually answering my question. I want people that are buying on Amazon. So you can actually put as a requirement that only get answers from people that have an Amazon Prime membership. So that's really important too. And then once you get the answers back, you can get all this demographic data, like who answered you, what's their age, what's their education, that kind of thing. You're going to get their ethnicity, their gender, their income. So you can make sure the people answering the question, if you're selling a product for middle-aged or older women, you don't want a bunch of teenagers answering the question of which of these skin creams looks best. You want people that are older. So you'll get all the demographic information as well, which is really cool. So you can make sure this is really your audience that's giving you this question or answering the question. And then the other cool thing is they will show you why they chose it. So everybody that answers has to actually type why they chose one or the other, and you can start reading through these and you can see like, oh wow, I didn't realize people think this of the package. You'll get some really cool insight of why they chose it, and you can like maybe change your logo or change the colors or change the way you're doing something, and you'll get all this up front before you go on Amazon. And this is just going to give you so much of a better success ratio and get more clicks and help you sell more on Amazon. Here's another example here. I want you to type in the chat box. Now that you guys are smart and you know how this works. This was one of my clients. Last year, they're selling this brain juice. It's like a supplement to help you stay alert. And they were trying to decide, should we use the image A or image B? It's the same product. It's a 12-pack. Should we show one bottle and put the word 12-pack up there, which you're really not supposed to do? Or B, show them all in the little box that they come in? I want you to type in the chat right now. I want you to type, which one do you think it should be? If this was your product, would you use picture A or picture B? Okay, I see a lot of people type in B, 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 A, B. Some more B's. Another A. Another B. Okay, all right. So you know what? You guys are smart people. Does anybody want to change their answer? You ever want to think about this? Somebody that said B, do you want to put an A? Or somebody that said A, do you want to switch it over to B? Because I'm about to show you what the answer was from PickFu. The answer was A by a 2-to-1 margin. So all you guys that put B, you might have been leaving a lot of money on the table, because look, it's a 2-to-1 margin. And I got all the reasons why they said that and everything. So here's the really good proof is in the pudding. This is from their Seller Central, their back end before they made the change. They had 1,000 sessions, 164 units ordered, and a 16% conversion rate, and $7,000 in sales. After they did this pick food test and they made the change, look what happened. 1,400 sessions, which means basically people looking at the page, 254 units ordered, and an 18% conversion rate, and $10,000 in sales. That's an extra $2,500 right there in product sales just by changing the one picture. So they spent whatever it was, $30 or $50 to do this test, and they made an extra $2,500 in 1 month. You know, times a year, that's $30,000. That's huge. That's money well spent. So don't be cheap and don't be skimpy when you're using the right tools to get the right data to help you succeed. All right, the fourth thing that I want to show you out of these 7 is how to launch a new product using your competition. You know, sometimes you may be new and you're about to start selling something and you don't have a mailing list, or you don't have a Facebook group, or you don't have any customers yet in this category. What you can do is you can actually, at least in the US market for sure, if you're selling in the US, you can launch a new product using your competition. So let's say this is my product here. This is for removing blackheads from your skin, like pimples on your skin. This is kind of a fancy one with a USB charger, and it's kind of a really fancy one. Let's say this was my product. I'd already done all my homework on AMZ Scout. I'd already used Payoneer to pay the factory, and the stuff is on the way to me right now. It's on the boat being shipped over. And I'm like, wow, I need to launch this product, but I don't have a list, and I don't know how to really, I don't know what to do. So what I would do is I would go and I'd find the best seller that's something that does the same thing, but it's not my product. So for example, this is the old school way to remove blackheads, like the tools that a professional or something would use. You know, if you go get a facial somewhere to help remove them. So this guy he's just crushing it on Amazon. So what I would do is I would use this guy's product to help launch mine. Now, how's that work, you might be asking? So what I would do is I would scroll down the page and I would see if he has an Amazon giveaway option. So usually scroll down the page, it'll say set up a giveaway. If this option is turned on by this competition, you can actually click on that set up a giveaway button, and you can set up a giveaway for this guy's item. Now you're going to have to buy your competition. So in this case, I'm going to buy 10 of them. You can do a giveaway for up to 30. But in this case, for this example, I'm going to buy 10 of them. So I'm going to have to whip out my credit card and pay $80. Now Amazon's not going to ship these to me, so it's okay if you're in the UK or in Africa or wherever you are. They're not going to ship them to you. They're just going to hold them, and they're going to send them out to customers that win them. So Amazon's going to keep them set aside, and they're going to send them out to customers. Amazon will send them out for you. You don't have to worry about it, to customers that win them. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to say I want a lucky person to win. So every lucky number instant winner. And I'm going to set the number to 500 in the middle of the screen. So that means basically one out of every 500th person, so person number 500, person number 1,000, person number 1,500 is going to win this product. Now what you can do, this all happens on Amazon. This is called Amazon giveaways. This is not the type of, some people confuse Amazon giveaways with like promotional launches. They're 2 different things. So this is Amazon giveaways. But before someone can enter to win on Amazon, I want them to watch a YouTube video. If you notice down at the bottom, I'm going to have to paste a link to a YouTube video in that little box, and I'll show you how to get that link in just a second. But I'm going to require them to watch a video. They're going to have to watch the first 10 seconds of that video before they can find out if they won or not. And that video is going to be crucial to launching your product. I'm also going to say I don't recommend, don't offer a discount because this is not my product, and I want this to be private. This is the most crucial part. It's private. Because I want to know everybody that's entering this contest. If you make this public, you're going to lose all of its effectiveness. You got to make it private. So make it private. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to YouTube. And you remember this was a blackhead removal tool for like pimples. So I'm going to type in blackhead removal and look at all these different videos that are on YouTube already made. I don't have to have a video yet. These are people that already have channels or whatever, they're making these things. I'm going to find somebody that looks pretty good, and I'm going to reach out to them. Usually their email will be on the contact section or the info section on YouTube, and say, hey, Mr. YouTuber, would you like to get 5,000 more video views? and most of them will say, heck yeah, because that'll help them rank better on YouTube and get more people watching their channel. I say, I can get those to you for free if you just make me a video. Now, how do I know I can get them 5,000? Because remember, I bought 10 units to give away, and every 500 person wins. So 10 times 500, that's 5,000 views. That's going to happen because I'm going to make everybody that enters my contest contest to win one free watch the video. And so that video, I'm going to tell them, look, I want you to compare my product to this product. So I'm going to take the one that's that I bought, and I'm going to send them one of mine. You're going to have to send them one. You have to ship one of these to them. What I usually do when my product is the factory in China finishes the product, I have them send one case to me by air freight or to my forwarder or to a friend I have in the U.S. That way I have a case of the products and I can send them out to people like this while the rest of them are on their way. I'm going to give it to them and say, I want you to compare the two. And hopefully yours is a better product. And then I'm going to start running some Facebook ads telling people, hey, would you like to win this blackhead remover? And it's not going to be a picture of mine. It's going to be a picture of the one that I just bought that I'm doing the giveaway. It's my competition's picture. And I'm going to use a program called ManyChat to engage them. And so this program is going to engage. I'm not just going to give them the link. They're not just going to click on Facebook and it's going to take them to the Amazon page. They're going to have to engage me first so I can get them on what's called a ManyChat chat list. And I'll talk about that in just a second. Now, every person who clicks the link is now on my messenger list, my ManyChat messenger list. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to send them through something called pixelme.me. That way I can make a pixel of them. A pixel is kind of like a cookie. It's kind of like an identifier. And so I know everybody that clicked that link. That's why I had to make it private over on Amazon, because now I know everybody who clicked this link, and I can go back and do what's called retargeting, where I know later on I can go back and run an ad just to the people that click the link. And it's very, very effective. And so when my product is ready to launch, I'm going to then use this messenger list that I have, and that's going to get like a 90% open rate. And anybody who clicked the link in the past couple weeks, I'm going to say, hey, sorry you didn't win that one we were giving away, but remember the other item that was in the video, the cool one that's yours. You can be the first to get it right now for 20% off on Amazon if you use this code. Or you can set up a flash sale. You can do whatever you want, and as soon as your product is in stock, you can drive a tremendous amount of sales and just be off to the races because everybody's already familiar with their product. You already have a list of people you know they're interested in it, and if you make them a good deal, they're going to go buy it, and it's going to help you get keyword rank and help you get that sales velocity and get up and running right away. And another site that you can use is called pixelme.me. This will take the Amazon URL and it'll put different keywords in there. And so you can rotate through keywords so you get ranked for different keywords. So whenever you get them in your messenger chat, you'll give them a link through Pixel.me and it'll help you get rank. If you don't know how to use ManyChat, if you go to course.manychat.com, there's a free course there. Usually you have to pay about $2,000 for this course, but they give it to you for free. And it's like 12 hours or something like that, and it's done by Molly Pittman, who's one of the top people in the business. And if you just do that course or have someone on your team do it, it'll show you how to set up ManyChat, how to do everything. It's totally free. So I recommend you do that, and it has a lot of examples for Amazon sellers in there too. So I can't show you exactly how to do ManyChat here. We don't have enough time, but that course will walk it all the way through it. And it's really, really cool. And there's also other companies out there, if you don't want to learn it, like Seller Chatbot, for example. I think it's sellerchatbot.com. They do all this stuff for you as well. The other benefit you get from this is you're going to have a cool video that YouTube person made. So what you can do is you can upload it to your Amazon page. Now this is not going to show up in your pictures, with its seventh picture. It can be a video. That's only for brand registered people or people who are selling as a vendor. But there's something called Amazon Video Shorts, and so you can get your picture into the Amazon Video Shorts section, which usually shows up on your product page, and sometimes it's very, very prominent on mobile devices. So you can take that video. If you go to this special link right here, you can actually upload the video for free onto Amazon. So that YouTube video you had that guy made, in addition to using it as a giveaway, you can get it onto your Amazon page. So when people are scrolling around and they're looking for one of these blackhead removers, they're going to see your video and see how much cooler yours is than the top seller on the market, and hopefully get you some additional sales as well. So the video shorts are real easy. You just upload it here and select the video and you upload it, and it's super easy. All right, so that was number 4. Let's keep this going on to number 5. Number 5 is what I call questions and answers. You know, if you look at an Amazon page like for this yoga mat here, and you scroll down the page from this yoga mat, you'll see all these customer questions and answers. You know, does this mat actually come with a case? Does this mat come with a band or something you can tie the mat, and so on? These are all great for providing customer service and getting more sales, but you can also use these to get more traffic to your page, to get more eyeballs looking at your page. If you put the right questions here, you can actually have your friends or family or other people actually type in a question here, and then what will happen is it'll show up here, and then Google will actually index that question. And when Google indexes the question, it will actually drive traffic over to your Amazon page. So how do you know what questions to ask though? So like here, if you go over to Google, does this mat come with a band or something you can tie the mat? You can see that shows up as the first result on Google. So yeah, that's a very, very long question that someone's going to type in Google, but you'd be surprised how many people are typing long questions or long things into Google. And there's not very many results that come up. But if yours has an exact match or a close match, you're going to show up top of page of Google. And these are called long tail keywords. And even if there's just 20 people or 50 people a month, which is not very many, typing something like this into Google, and you can get all those people to click over to your Amazon page, it can add a lot to your sales. But how do you figure out which questions people are asking? I like to use answerthepublic.com. So just go to answerthepublic.com and type in your product name. Like this is yoga mats. So I type in yoga mats, and I put in, I'm in the U.S. market. And what happens is this program will go out and search Google, searches Amazon, searches Reddit, searches all these places, and comes up with all the questions people are asking all over the internet about yoga mats. So you can then scroll through these, and you can get ones that are good questions, like what yoga mats are the best, or what yoga mats does Equinox use, or look through all these. And you can then take these exact questions and then have someone go over to your friends or your family or other customers or whatever, go over to Amazon and ask these questions exactly like this. You know, like what yoga mats are the best, for example, and have them ask that on Amazon in the answer, the question spot, and then you go in and you'll answer it and say, well, I think ours is the best because blah blah blah. But what happens after some time is Google is going to index that your page on Amazon, and it's going to look at that exact phrase, what yoga mats are the best, and it's going to index you. And then when people type that into Google, you should show up, hopefully in the first spot, if not, at least on the first page, and people will click it, and it will go straight to your Amazon listing. You do this for 20, 50, 100 questions, you can get 1, 2, 3, maybe 5 extra sales a month off of every single question. And that can add up to a lot of extra sales. You can also get the ideas for questions if you just, from the suggested search of Google, if you just start typing in something there, Google will, this autofill will give you some ideas too. But this is really, really, really powerful for adding extra sales. So you want to make sure you rank your questions on Google by doing this tactic, and it can make a huge difference and get you some extra money in your pocket. The 6th thing out of these 7 that I want to show you is where your keyword emphasis should be. Now, this is a big mistake I see a lot of sellers make, and this may be the best tip in the whole set of tips here. So make sure you pay close attention to what I'm about to show you. Take a quick drink here. So where should your keyword emphasis be when you're building your listing? First and most important is the title. So whatever you're trying to rank for, or whatever the keywords you're trying to rank for, you got to make sure they're in the title. Second one is subject matter. It's the second most important. And that's not your search terms in the back. That's subject matter. It's a different field. In case you don't know what that is, it looks like this. And there's 5 fields of 50 characters. Sometimes there's just one box there and you have to hit add more, add more, add more to see all of them. But there's 5 fields. Now some of this will look a little bit different in Europe. So this what I'm showing you here is for the US market. So those of you that are selling in Europe, It might look a little bit differently, but in the US market, this is how it looks. So subject matter is that one. The third one is your search terms, which are in the back end, the search terms in the back end. Fourth one are what's called the other fields. The other fields are these right here: target audience, intended use, other attributes. Those are the other fields. The fifth one is your bullet points, and these are in order. The fifth one's the bullet points. Sixth one are your reviews and the questions and answers, like we just talked about. And the seventh one is your product description, and especially the first 200 characters of your product description. That's the order of importance where you need to emphasize to get your ranking and keywords on Amazon. Now, take a look at this screenshot here. This is from a tool that kind of gives you a snapshot of your profits when you're selling on Amazon. These are some 3 different products I sold late last year, and I made a $51,000 profit on these in 1 month. But if you add all 3 of these together, I made a $51,362 profit in 1 month on these, and I didn't do any advertising. I didn't do any kind of launch or giveaways or any kind of ranking shenanigans or anything. I just made that much money just by simply doing the listing right on Amazon and by using these keyword fields in the proper way and putting what Amazon wants in the fields. What do I mean by that? Well, we already know the title, subject matter, search terms, kind of obvious. You should put the main keywords there. But what about these other fields? This is what helped me make all this money, is by properly using these other fields. And this is something that most people overlook and they don't do. These are the other fields. And remember, intended use, target audience, other attributes are the main other fields. The platinum keywords one, you have to ignore that. That's only for special people. Now, if I go into intended use and I start to, it tells me there, it suggests some things like baseball, Halloween kitchen. Or if I get the suggestion from Amazon, it starts throwing in all this random stuff: mini size, microphone feature, automobiles. It's like, what the heck am I supposed to put here? So am I supposed to just guess, or just put my own stuff, or put whatever off of this list, whatever is relevant to me? If I'm selling a beauty product, so do I put aircraft for a beauty product? I don't think so. That doesn't make any sense. So how do you figure out what to put there? Well, if you go to target audience, is it teens, toddlers, cats, unisex children? I don't know. What am I supposed to put here? My product, anybody could use it. What am I supposed to put? I don't know. Subject matter, what am I supposed to put here? Winter, fall, summer, spring, Mother's Day. I don't digital video recorders, but I'm selling beauty products. What's digital video product recorders have to do with it? What am I supposed to put? Well, here's how you know what to put. You want to go, and this tip actually won me a bunch of cash at a recent Amazon event where everybody had to get up and share a tip, and it got me this boatload of cash, a briefcase full of cash. You're gonna go, if you go into your Seller Central and you look at your inventory reports and you look over here, there's a whole bunch of different reports. There's one that's missing, and Amazon has this turned off by default. You have to know how to turn this on. It's called the Category Listings Report. And what you want to do is you want to send an email to Amazon and say, will you please turn on this category listing report? All you gotta do is open up this ticket and say, please activate my category listing report. They'll activate it for between 7 and 90 days, something like that. And once this is activated, you'll be able to download it for your category. You notice here it says categories beauty. You would select which category you're in. It'll be activated and you're going to download this. This is basically a blueprint of your listing. The category listing report is a blueprint of your listing. It's all the data about your listing that Amazon has. If you're going to download the report, if you don't know where to go to download it, there's a link there. You'll get the slides afterwards. I'll give you a link to the slides so you'll have all this if you can't copy that down fast enough, because I know I speak fast. But that's where you would go. And then you're also going to download 2 other things: the flat file, which is like an Excel or a spreadsheet. It's like it's a spreadsheet. And you're going to download what's called the Browse Tree Guide, or the BTG. You're going to download those 2 things too. Amazon gives those to you for free. And what you're going to be doing is you're going to be using these 3 to compare them against each other and get the information that Amazon actually wants. And once you know what Amazon actually wants, you're going to use that information to enter it into those other fields. And that's how I did $51,000 in profit without doing any launches, because I told Amazon, I used what Amazon wanted, and it made a huge difference. So if I'm selling bath soaps, let's take bath soaps as an example, and I go to other attributes in my back end of Seller Central, it starts spitting out all these random stuff: computer accessories, portable. None of this makes sense really for maybe travel, for a bath soap. So how do I know what to put in here? Well, what I do is I go into the uh, into the browse tree guide. I'm sorry, the flat file, and I look at the source attribute. The browse tree guide that I downloaded, and I look in the source attribute keywords column. I go and find my bath soaps. I scroll down to find bath soaps, and in the source attributes keywords, look at all the stuff that they have here: alcohol free, ammonia free, contains keratin. This makes much more sense than automotive or digital video recorder or whatever. I'm going to pick the ones out of this list that are most relevant to my product, and that's what I'm going to use. So you can get this information from the browse tree guide under the refinements tab and under the valued values tab in the flat file. So that's why you download these files. You're going to open them up and look under the refinements tab in the browse tree guide and the valid values tab in the flat file. And that's going to give you a clue as to what you should enter. And then you're going to either enter that stuff into the flat file if you want to upload it that way, or you're going to go into Seller Central and just start typing that into the fields. Another one is like specific use keywords. You can see here, that's the intended use. I don't know why Amazon makes this. You need like a Rosetta Stone to figure some of this stuff out, because Amazon doesn't call stuff the same between these for whatever reason. So that's why I'm showing you this. This is why so many people don't do this, because it can be confusing and they don't understand what to do. But when you understand this, it can make a huge difference in your business. So specific use keywords, those are the ones that should be in intended use. And you see here, when I look at my category, the picture on the right is my category listing report. I had makeup, shaving, and travel as the intended use. That made sense to me. I want this product to be used for makeup or shaving or travel, but that's not what Amazon wants. They want all these anti-aging, cellulite, dark spots, whatever. That's the stuff they want. So I'm going to pick out of that list what's most applicable to my product and put that in there. And then if I have some extra space, then I'll go ahead and put my shaving and travel and makeup. Only if I have extra space, I'll fill it in with my guesses. But first, I'm going to put what Amazon says. Same thing here. The source attribute keywords, you're going to put those in the other attributes. The other attributes field right here. You put the relevant ones right there. So that they're telling you what they want. Even skin type here is empty. I look at my category listing report, and I see that skin type is empty, because I didn't know what the heck to put in skin type. Here's what Amazon says: skin type for this particular product should be one of these values. I'm not, I might have put a skin type. I'm gonna put dark or Latina or pale or something. That's not what Amazon wants. They want this acne prone, combination, dry, mature, normal, oily, or sensitive. So that's what I would have put, whichever ones of those my product is good for. And why should you do all this? It's because it'll increase your relevancy, it'll increase your keyword indexing. All the filtered search results on the left-hand side eliminates all your competition, and your sponsored ad impressions will go up. You'll start getting ad impressions on things you weren't getting on before, and it's a great way to get more sales. So you've got to do this, and you can go back and watch the replay when this goes out. If I went too fast, or you'll get the slides. I'll give you a link here in just a little bit. You can download that and look at that, but take a look at that. It can make a huge difference. And the next, number 7, the last one of the tips here before I give you some ninja hacks is, YouTube is a major place that a lot of people overlook for selling on Amazon. One second, there we go, get that out of there. One place, a lot of people go to Facebook to run ads to sell on Amazon, but Facebook is called interruption marketing. So when you're running ads on Facebook, you're interrupting people from looking at what their family and friends are doing, or catching up on news, or being entertained. Versus on YouTube, a lot of people go to YouTube to learn, and they're going to go to YouTube and they're looking for very specific things. And so if you can get your video on the front of people that are going to YouTube to look for certain things, you can make a lot of extra sales and a lot of extra money. So there's something called monetization on YouTube. So all these guys that have YouTube channels or putting up videos on YouTube, they can actually make a little bit of money. It's not much, but they can make a little bit of money off the ads that run on their videos. And most people have this turned on by default. Some people do turn it off, but most people have it turned on by default. So if you can get your video say that video we talked about earlier that we had that YouTube guy created for our blackhead removal tool. If you can have that run on the front of other videos where people are searching for how to deal with acne or how to deal with pimples or whatever, you could probably drive a lot of sales to your Amazon page. Well, how do you know which videos you should be on, or how to do this? This is a little bit more of an advanced tech technique, but there's a software called TubeSift that's really cool for doing this. And this software will help you find all these videos on YouTube that you can run your ads on that can drive a lot of traffic to your Amazon page. So remember our little blackhead remover that we talked about earlier, that where we're going to launch it on, launch this product using our competition. We can also launch it on YouTube. So if this is my product, I would use this software tool called TubeSift and just go in and type in the keyword blackhead, and it shows me a maximum results here of 100. And it's going to spit out all these videos that have monetization turned on, and it's going to tell me how many views they've had on YouTube. And I can go through here and I can pick some of these, like, oh man, I should put my product as an ad on a bunch of these different these videos. But look here, the publish date on these, some of these are a couple years old, and so most of those views probably happened when they first came out, not right now. So what I like to do is find the ones that are hot. People are just brand new videos that just came out and they're kind of trending up, and a lot of people are watching them over the next few weeks. So when you do this search for blackhead, you can actually click on this little button here and say show me the trending videos only, which will show you only the ones that have had more than 20,000 views in the last 14 days. And if you can jump on their bandwagon, you can ride the wave of people who are really looking. This is a hot new video, almost like a, not really viral, but it's a hot new video, and you can get your ad on the front of these. So once I go through all these videos, this tool makes it really easy for you to copy all these links of all the ones that are relevant. And then what you do is you go over to Google Ads and you do a placement ad on Google Ads, and you just paste all these video links in. And then what's going to happen is your ad will start running as what's called the pre-roll on YouTube. There's two different ways ads run on YouTube. One is called in-stream, which is where you're watching a video and all of a sudden it cuts to a commercial. You don't want to do those. You want to do what's called the pre-roll. The pre-roll is what shows up when you first click. So you do a search on YouTube and you start to watch a video that you're interested in, but before you can watch that video, there's an ad. And you've all probably seen it if you've been on YouTube, and after 3 seconds, a little button comes on, it says skip ad. Well, the beauty about this is if they skip your ad, you don't pay. So if your video starts playing and your video is more than 30 seconds long, as long as they don't watch the 30 seconds or more, then you don't pay. So if they watch the first 20 seconds of your video and you've done a good job in those first 20 seconds of selling your product and convincing them to go to Amazon, you can get free traffic. So you might want to make like a 40, I mean, the best ideal length is about 80 seconds, an 80-second video, and you hope that they don't watch past 30 seconds. Because if they watch past 30 seconds, you're going to have to pay. But if they watch less than 30 seconds and you've done a really good job in that video of convincing them to click your link or to go to Amazon, you can get a ton of free traffic. If they'd have to go and type it in. If they click it, you have to pay, but they have to go and type it in. But you can get a ton of free traffic, or even if you do pay, it can be very cost effective. The beautiful thing about TubeSift is it also helps you set up your videos perfectly. And so when you run an ad, it'll make this little banner that shows up over there for you. So if they click on that, it goes straight to your Amazon page. It also puts a banner up here on the YouTube page. I can have your logo or picture of your product or whatever. TubeSift helps you make all this, and that click will go straight to your Amazon page. And remember, if they skip the ad and they don't watch it, at least 30 seconds of it, you don't pay. So it can be a very, very powerful method for helping you get extra sales and getting onto the right videos on YouTube, because you can target very specific videos that are of interest to the market that wants your product, versus it's much harder to do that on Facebook or somewhere else. So the last thing I want to share with you, I know we've been going here for a little while, is some ninja tips. And so these are quick and down and dirty, just like really fast hitters that I'm going to share with you. I do this every month in the Helium 10 Elite Mastermind training that we do. And so I'm bringing you seven of them right here, just to give you some really cool tips. Tip number 1 of these 7. Here's how to improve your inventory performance score. You know, Prime Day is coming up, and maybe you have a restriction on your account on sending in inventory, and you can't send in a bunch of inventory, and you're like, man, I know I'm going to sell a bunch, but Amazon just won't let me send it in. What you can do is go into the inventory planning, and if you have below a 350, they put a bunch of restrictions on you. In this case, it's a 546 in this example, but if you still might want to get your inventory up a little bit. So you're going to go into your inventory dashboard, and you're going to click on the preferences on the restock inventory. And then where this has the supplier lead times and these reorder frequencies, there's going to be some defaults in there. In my case, it was 10 and 13. I raised those to 25 and 25, even though that's not really what it is. I raised them to 25 and 25. And within about 48 hours, my score improved, and I was able to send in additional inventory. The second of these quick ninja tips is, what if you're having trouble getting a lightning deal to be offered? Maybe you've been selling for a while, and you're like, man, why has Amazon never offered me a lightning deal for this product? It's a good selling product, it's got good reviews, but I'm never getting a lightning deal offered. One of the reasons, it could be what's called a false positive word in your title, and you need to get it whitelisted. What's a false positive word? So example would be bath bombs. The word bombs. Amazon won't run a lightning deal for anything that has the word bombs in it unless it gets whitelisted. Or the word ring. The word ring has some sort of sexual connotation. So Amazon won't run anything that has the word ring in it unless it gets whitelisted. Or maybe even slime, kid slime. If that's in your title, you might not be getting a lightning deal. So if you have some of these words that could be on the blacklist basically of Amazon, you have to get them whitelisted to be offered a lightning deal. So all you got to do is open a case with the ASIN and your seller ID and ask for a manager on the promotions team in Seattle to review your product to whitelist it. Once they do that, if you meet all the other requirements, you should start being offered lightning deals. Now, your past history of lightning deals impacts your offers for Prime Days and Christmas deals. And running constant sales, where you put the strike-through pricing, some people do that. It can also prevent you from getting a deal. So you got to be careful with that. The third of these ninja hacks is, are you having trouble with hijackers or counterfeiters on your listing? What I like to do is I like to put in my own protection on my packaging. This is what's called a die cut right here. So the part that's in blue will be hidden when this box is folded. This is a box. This is how the box would be made. So the red part is the part that's seen in the box, and the blue part's the part that folds over or kind of gets hidden when the box is closed. So what I do is the parts that is put something on the part that can't be seen of the box. So I will go in and, like on one of these flaps, I'll put the word original, or I'll put some sort of word in there, and then once the flap is folded over, it's hidden. And that way, when my product goes in there and goes into Amazon, if one of my competition or someone starts trying to counterfeit me or hijack me, I can do a test buy, and I can say, look, to show Amazon, look, these are not the same products. Look, mine has this unique mark inside the box, and this other guy doesn't. And it can help you win a lot of cases and help you prevent people from jumping on your listing. The fourth one is, when you're sending out your purchase order or your invoice to your supplier, especially in China, you want to make sure you have this one clause on there, because if you don't, you could get screwed. It's happened to me where my supplier, I sent them my packaging to make my box, and all of a sudden my pictures that I took and spent money on to make are all over the internet and all over Alibaba, and the supplier is just using my pictures, and that's not okay. So make sure you put this clause, and you'll get the slides. You don't have to write this down right now, but I always want to say, products may not be given to others as samples for your paid, used, displayed, or shown as samples on any website, social media platform, or any email or messaging app, including your companies or any other marketplace or at any trade show, fair, or showroom anywhere in the world in perpetuity. So also sometimes your suppliers might, if you have a good product, they might take it as an example and use it at the Canton Fair in their booth. And I don't want my products in their booths, so without my permission up front. So you want to put this clause to help protect yourself from them doing things they shouldn't be doing. This next one is how to get the real inventory of any item on Amazon. A lot of you may know the 999 trick, where you can go and add 999 items to the cart. And Amazon, when you go to the checkout, will say, sorry, 999 aren't available, only 612 are available. Well, that tells you the inventory of this guy is 612. But what if they have more than 999? What if they have 20,000? This trick doesn't work. You can't put 99999. extra nines, and it come back and spit it out, because Amazon doesn't let you order more than 1,000 of any given item in the cart at a time. So it doesn't work, but there's a workaround. So what you want to do is you want to find an item that has less than 999 and try to add 999 to your cart. So you get an error that looks like this. So like this particular one, I found this little hot dog toaster, and I tried to add 999 to my cart. Amazon gave me a warning error that said, I'm doing this as a customer. It said, sorry, only 757 are available. I'm like, cool, okay, only 757 are available. You're going to keep that in your cart. This is the little trick that you do. You keep that in your cart. Then I'm going to go and add an item to my cart that I think has more than 999. Maybe it's one of the top sellers that's just crushing it. I'm going to add that item to my cart. So I found these little dog seatbelt things, and these guys, like, this BSR is just crazy, and AMZ Scout said he's selling like some crazy number, like 400 a day or something like that. So I know this guy's got a lot of them. So I added it to the cart. Notice I still have the original in there that gave me the error, and now I have the guy that has a lot more in there. But I leave it at 1 right here. I leave the little dog leash things at a 1. I don't change it right here. What I'm then going to do is change the quantity to whatever I think it may be. I'm going to go to the checkout page, and this is important. You have to be on the checkout page. Right here, I'm not this is the checkout page here, but it's not the cart page. Notice it says checkout at the top. So on the checkout page, I'm going to change it to some really high number, like 30,000 or whatever. And again, it's very important you be on the checkout page, not the cart view page. And when I do that, it's going to split it. It's going to do something like this. It's going to say, sorry, 999 are available, and then 4829 are available. If I add those two together, this guy's got 14,828 in stock. So now I know exactly how many units this guy has in stock, how competitive it may be, how well versed he is in selling on Amazon, how ready he is for deals. Or you can use this number and follow how much they sell. You're curious how much someone sells on a Prime Day coming up in July? Do this the day before Prime Day, see how much they have in stock, and do it 2 days later after Prime Day, and see how much they have in stock, and you'll get an idea of how much someone sold. And, that could be great information to use for next year, for inventory planning in the future. Now, it's not exact, because Amazon does move stuff between warehouses, and maybe they ship more in and check more in, but it'll get you pretty close. Excuse me. All right, number 6 is always use unique coupon codes when possible to increase your conversions. You can make a generic coupon code like that in this example, come back, and give that to everybody, and that can be fine. But if you can use a unique code like the ones that Amazon gives you, that SDFLKLJE blah 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 blah, by doing that, you can increase your conversion rate by up to 18%. Because a unique code personalizes the experience for people. It creates a psychological urgency. Now, this may seem like a minor thing, but it's a very big deal to sophisticated shoppers. And according to Klaviyo, they did a study, and they increased the conversion rates by 18% in the emails by having a unique code. So always try to use unique codes whenever you can. You can tie those into ManyChat or other places. Another thing is, what if you're having someone messing around with your listing? Or competitors up to no good. They're changing your pictures, or they're changing your title, or they're just screwing around with your listing. What you need to do, instead of opening a ticket, is instead send an email straight to this address, suspect-abuse@amazon.com. Rather than opening something in Seller Central, send it straight to the department that handles these. And then what you want to do is you want to tell them what's happening. Because inside Amazon, they have to try to read your email and figure out, what is this? What's going on with this listing, and then they have a list of SOPs, or standard operating procedures. And so once they figure out what is the problem is, they're like, okay, let me go pull out SOP number 22, and this is how I'm supposed to deal with the problem and answer it. Well, if you can tell them what is happening with one of these 7 reasons, your chances of success goes way up. The one that you're most likely going to be using is the second from the bottom, PDP tampering. That stands for product display page tampering. And so if someone changes your pictures or changes your title or something like that, you send an email to suspect-abuse@amazon.com, say, hey, this is my ASIN number, blah, blah, blah. I've got a case of PDP tampering. My photos were changed without my permission. I'm the brand owner, blah, blah, whatever. Your chance of getting a quick resolution goes way up, because you use the correct terminology. That person on the other end knows, oh, I'm supposed to look at the PDP tampering SOP. That's what they do. They pull it out. Okay, this is what we're supposed to do. Problem solved. There's some other reasons there. You may have a reason to use those at other times, but the one it's to focus on for most of you will be the PDP tampering. This will get you better results a lot faster. Now, that's what I've got for you today, and I just want to leave you with just one little thing. Don't always dream big, dream smart. If I haven't gotten anything across to you today, it's not about how much money you make. It's about being smart about what you're approaching and generating enough money to create the lifestyle that you want to live. If you want more of this kind of stuff, I mean, I have a course called the Freedom Ticket that's for new people. It's at freedomticket.com. There's another webinar there where I go into detail. I recommend you watch it, even if you don't want to buy the course. It's not expensive. It's like $1,000 course, but even if you don't want to buy that course, they'll show you everything from A to Z on how to sell on Amazon. At least go watch the free webinar, because I think you'll get some good value no matter what level you're at, whether you're beginner or new. Just go watch the free webinar there. It's different than what you just watched today, but it'll help you quite a bit, I think. And then if you want to download the slides from if you want to get in touch with me, there's my email up at the top. If you want to download the slides, there's a link right there. You don't even have to enter your email or anything. Just go to amzmarketer.com/scout, and you can download the slides from today's presentation. So that's what I have. I'll put that link back up one more time just for you. And I'll say thanks for joining us today.